What name? Maslow's hierarchy or Maslow? Mazlow. So it's like this philosopher, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll learn about it now. Or at least hierarchy. Hierarchy. Yeah, like the word high and then R key. Yep. Yeah, when you read it, it's not gonna. Yeah, it's very different. Inconsistencies. Cool. Alright, let's go ahead and jump right in. So Maslow's hierarchy. Go ahead and do the reading. Yep. Have you seen this before? And what do you think about it? What can you tell me about it? Of course, yeah. Yeah, I think it is too. Let's go ahead and do some more reading whenever you're ready. Of the next slide. Yep. Yeah, I was waiting to see how long it would take for you to notice. Very good. I noticed you pronounced motivation motivation, right? It's like motivation. Questions on this slide? All right. Let's move on to some other questions. Well, yeah, how familiar are you with Maslow's hierarchy? I kind of asked you about that. Go ahead and read the next question then. So you need to sell according to their level? Yeah, exactly. That makes sense. Yeah, if someone needs like shelter, like money to pay for rent, then they're gonna just find a job or whatever, right? Cool. Okay. Go ahead and read the next question. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. That makes sense. And kids, especially younger kids, are encouraged to think about like um, what they want to do with their life and that sort of stuff. So you're right. Their basic needs are kind of covered. What about for old people? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think old people probably already did most of the pyramid because they have a lot more experience. So although they can like get to the top, maybe they are tired of being there or something. Yeah, tired of life. Okay. And what about people that don't have a lot of resources, like poor people? Or how do they compare to rich people? That's true. I know plenty of stories about rich people who don't have like those other needs, like love and belonging. Cool. I know, right? So, any questions on this slide? The difference between young and old? I mean, kind of like what you said. Um, young people have those basic needs covered, so they're encouraged to like think about self-actualization, love and belonging, and all that other stuff. And maybe older people, it depends. I mean, if they're successful in life, then maybe they can afford to focus on the stuff at the top, and maybe that's how you get those really like big important people like Gandhi or I don't know those philosophers and stuff. Um, I don't know. It all depends, right? It depends on their situation. Yeah. If you look at it, it says the desire to become the most. So I guess if they don't have the desire, then all right. Let's move on. All right. So vocabulary. First word is subsequently. Good. Yep. 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 Very good. I didn't see any mistakes there. Do you have any questions? More vocabulary. First one is belongingness. Yep. Allude. Mm-hmm. Correlated. Yeah. Yep, very good. Correlated. Questions on this slide? Alright. Now we got more reading. Whenever you're ready, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, motivation. Yeah. Yeah. Very good. So, how would you summarize this paragraph? If you didn't achieve first. Yeah, so if you didn't fulfill, it says fulfill in this one, right? So if you don't fulfill the previous needs, then you can't move up. I guess you can't progress. Yeah, that's very true. And I think it's in a subliminal thing. I don't think really people realize like the level that they're at. And to be honest, I think it also changes based on your mood. Do you think it changes? Yeah, of course, that's like basic. Yeah, when you're hungry, that's all you want to do. Or when you're tired. Oh, that's only gonna make it worse. Cool. Okay, so questions on this one? Alright then, moving on. So now we got a little more reading. Good. So you didn't use any mistakes, but you pronounced status, right? That's not incorrect. It's perfectly fine, but I just pronounce it status. Yeah, status instead of status. Let's see. Yeah, and there's a British one, then there's the American one. Yeah, in English, in American English, it's status, in British English, it's status. Or status. Yep. I think this word really does a good job at demonstrating the difference in accent, because you have to pronounce the T differently and the A. Right, so they say status, and we say status. Yeah, definitely. So what do you do to gain recognition, according to what this paragraph said? And then you get those likes and then you feel good. Whatever it is, yeah. Okay. People don't realize what you've done. So so back in high school you thought that your grades meant you were a good person? Or like you were worthy? People still do that with like money and possessions. Do you? Like they associate the fact that they have a lot of money with status or with a lot of like a big house with being important. Yeah, I was. Yeah, after a certain threshold, I was just listening to a podcast today. After a certain threshold, money doesn't really help. I mean, once you have your basic necessities covered, I guess with money you can cover. You know what? How many of these parts of the pyramid can money help you? Yeah, definitely the first two. Maybe some of the third one. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, kind of, I guess. That's true. But I don't think it helps with the last one, with the self-actualization. I don't think. I mean, money might be able to speed up the process. Like you said, getting a mentor. Cool. Do they claim to be like Gandhi or something? Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I mean, that's what being a teacher is all about, right? I should put that on my title, mentor. Do you think people look for mentorship more than like English lessons, or do they actually look for both when looking for English lessons? Okay, interesting. That actually helped. Well, I'm asking because if I try to position myself as also a mentor, maybe I'll get new, different kind of clients. Yeah. Alright, so let's do this fill in the blanks activity. I want you to read the sentence with the right word. Good. Okay. You can skip it and come back. So the last one is allude. Yes. Cool. Questions on this slide? Physiological needs as traits allude to long-term, unchanging demands that are required of basic human life. I mean, then it's like it hints to the long-term demands. So like taking care of your body, like being healthy, that's a physiological need, and it's a long-term need, right? As traits. To be honest, traits. Yeah, I guess. I think the word aspects can also kind of be replaced. Physiological needs as aspects. Actually, no. Yeah, the sentence is a little kind of confusing, isn't it? I didn't write this. I took it from Wikipedia. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Physiological needs as traits allude to long-term. Physiological needs as traits allude to long-term, unchanging demands that are required of basic human life. The physiological needs. Yeah, you're right. I mean, if you were to put a comma before as and after traits, I think it would help the reader understand this sentence a little better. But there's already another comma after long term. So yeah, there would be too many commas, but I think there's too many ideas in this sentence because it's trying to describe how physiological needs are traits. So you could restructure and say certain physiological traits, or I mean it's kind of redundant, right? Physiological needs as traits, they're kind of describing the same thing, needs and traits, right? Yeah, a trait is like a thing that you can have, like a trait, like a personality, or like a certain type of I guess something that makes you unique, or anyway. Maybe Wikipedia isn't the best place to get some of these sentences. Alright, let's make some sentences. The Prime Minister subsequently decided that Prime Minister without the what? Oh, sorry. That enforcing this rule is not a good idea. Let's take a look at what subsequently means again. After a particular thing has happened, or afterwards. Yeah, this sentence is kind of out of context, right? I mean, it's technically not incorrect, but it's kind of hard to understand. That might help, yeah. Try to avoid using the word there subsequently. Let's look at some examples. The officer decided to stop and subsequently made an arrest. So here, this sentence, it's like there's one idea here, and then subsequently made an arrest, right? So afterwards. So try to do something like that. So I got a bad mark, and subsequently how about my parents chastised me? No, chastise is like when you get it's like when they yell at you and stuff. When they to rebuke or reprimand severely, to get punished. Cool. Yeah, to get punished. I don't know, maybe you feel that way. The earning proceedings, you said? The earnings proceeding The earnings proceeding from the charitable fair are going to the children's hospital. So, doesn't really fit there. Remember, subsequently was used. I got a bad mark, and subsequently my parents chastised me. You're doing the same mistake that you did with the word subsequently here with the word proceeding, right? Let's take a look at what proceeding means again. To begin a course of action. No, that's proceed. Hold on. See, it has two meanings. Move forward or to begin a course of action. So we're trying to use the one that means move forward. To begin a course of action, sorry, yeah. I would just take it out. The earnings. I mean, if you wanna, yeah, you can. You can put something like the earnings accumulated from the charitable fair, right? That's an additional word. And if you want it to sound more complex, sure. If you don't really need it. It's kind of extra, right? Let's look at the example. This consortium could proceed with the plan, but not proceeding. You can say he started proceeding. See, but this word means something else. Here, let me help you with one. What's that little robot that automatically vacuums your floor? The Roomba began proceeding towards the pile of dirt, hopefully to clean it up. Yeah, and then it blows up. Yeah. Up to you. There's a lot more words, so. Can you find intrinsic value in a chapter of a book? Alright, so belonging naturally essential. Let's start from the beginning. I believe each child is born with kindness. Yeah, I think that's true. And then we become mean. Yeah, I know, right? Have you ever read the story of Frankenstein? Yeah, Frankenstein is all about how society makes us bad people. Yeah, so Frankenstein is actually the scientist who made the monster. And the monster doesn't have a name, it's just Frankenstein's monster. And yeah, so Frankenstein his monster was ugly, super ugly. So ugly that everyone hated him because he was so ugly. But he was nice, he was kind. But when people saw him, they were mean to him, so he was mean to everyone else. Yeah, and there's like a whole story behind it and stuff. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting story. It's not too like complex, and it's pretty like philosophical and deep, and it's a good classic. Anyway, the multiplication operator takes precedence Yep, that's a good sentence. Yeah, when he's with his mother. Good. Next. Can you say it one more time from the beginning? It would be alludes, but that's fine. You can use alludes to theft or criminal, because evidence usually shows who did it, right? Or alludes to a potential theft. I mean, yeah, that makes sense too. Inculpate. The culprit. Wait, let's see if that's the same word. You know, got inculpate. To a potential culprit, yes. I think that fits much better. Okay, next. It's okay, we have a definition right up here. In a way that prevents success or development harmfully or unfavorably. Yeah, the wind adversely in what way? Like adversely affected the lilies, you said? Yeah. Yeah, the harsh wind adversely affected the lilies that I planted in my yard. I mean, it makes sense, yeah. The wind, a harsh wind adversely affected the lilies I planted in my yard. Yeah. The lack of funds will adversely impact the development of this project. Yeah, because here it will adversely affect the lilies, but in what way affect? Like affected the growth or affected the growth or the health or something, right? In this way, I said will adversely impact the development, right? Cool. Okay. Yeah, I could still just say that, right? I mean, it's still kind of lack of funds will adversely impact or maybe not just development, like the progress of this project or the timeline or something like that. Is the fact that you skipped breakfast correlated with the fact that the cookie? Good sentence. I actually didn't skip breakfast, but cool. Well, that's the end of the lesson. But when I did this lesson with Petru, we actually did a mock. What did we do afterwards? Because we finished it kind of early. We did like a role play for when you guys would get like a new student. Did he tell you about that? You want to try doing that? Do you ever like have calls with potential clients and trying to sell them mentorship or oh, only Petra does it? Oh, okay. How come you don't do it? Maybe, but I'm a firm believer that I think women are more approachable, and it's easier to make a sale if you're a woman. What's your opinion on that? Interesting. Well, it depends, I guess. It's not always consistent, but in my experience, I think women are more approachable, and I think when making a sale, a woman has the upper hand as much or even more than a man, because men can come across kind of harsh, right? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they mirror your Yeah, they mirror you. That's normal, right? Yeah, it's a psychological thing. If you give people two options, they're usually going to choose one of the two options and not think about all the other options they might have. So, I've done it plenty of times. Um, yeah, of course. When I asked the girl on a date, I asked her, "You want to go for a coffee or a beer?" Exactly, right? But that doesn't work either because what if she's not, I don't know, actually interested in blah, anyway. Other stuff to take into account. But yeah, that's a sales technique. And there's a lot of other sales techniques you can do. Oh, I had a few jobs in sales. Yeah. No, I did not go to the door. My first sales job was when I called people to, like on the phone, to sell automated email marketing, and I would call like 200 people a day. Yeah. Most people, like, the calls were very short. 90% of them were less than 5 seconds long. Because, hi, is this Bianca? Yeah. How are you doing today? What is this for? I'm boop. Yep. That's how it happened. And then I wouldn't even have a phone. I'll just have a headset. So I'll just, all right, next, next, next. Yeah. So that was one of my jobs, and then the other one was selling fitness. What is it like? It was like a fitness studio, like selling memberships for a fitness studio. And now I have to sell English lessons. So we're always selling ourselves, aren't we? Are you selling yourself? Yes, you are. That's why it's important to know sales. Is it because you don't want to, or you think because it's better that he... Makes sense. Yeah. Cool. Do you guys talk to them, your clients, in English or Romanian? Uh-huh. Yeah. And when you do, you're gonna have to start selling in English, right? Well, if you need a salesman, as long as you pay commission. Perfect. Well, let me know when you expand into the international market, and I'm gonna explode your sales closing rates. Yep. Cool. Anything else you want to talk about? Not specifically. I just remembered about how I did that role play with Petru, and I thought maybe you'd want to. Yeah, we could do that. Okay, so I'll be your client, and how do you usually do it? You call them, right? Alright, so go ahead and call me. Hello? Yeah, I think so. Sure. Sounds good. I want to learn programming because I think I can get like a good job. I mean, I want to work at Google or Facebook. I know. I think it's time for me to make a change, and I think this is the direction that might help me the most. But I'm not entirely convinced that it might be the right way, you know? Don't forget to move towards like closing the sale. Yeah, compliments help, thanks. So you can say next something like, what's stopping you from doing this on your own? Um, I tried doing it on my own, but I need help, like a mentor or like a person to answer my questions, because looking for answers takes a long time, and I don't really have that motivation. I kind of need someone to hold me accountable. Um, I think your clients are going to be like undecisive. So don't ask them, "Are you ready to start?" Ask them, "When are you?" Or do you want? Or can you start within the next few days? Because people, if they don't make an action within the first few days, they're not going to they're going to forget about it. Um, I mean, this week is kind of busy, so I don't know. Maybe next week. Is that fine? You're right. I'm glad you noticed that. Maybe I can. What do I need to do exactly? Cool. Awesome. So yeah, that was not bad, but you also need to describe more details on like what you're selling and all that sort of stuff. And if we had more time, we can also do that for longer. But what did you think of it so far? Yeah, yeah. when I try, when I have my 15-minute like free lesson with my new students, I really stick to the 15 minutes. For me, it's kind of easy because it's just English lessons. I mean, programming is also kind of easy, but it depends on the details of like the program and the structure, the format, and all that sort of stuff. I ask a bunch of questions. Let me pull them up. I ask them a bunch of questions. I show them how the lessons are formatted. So here's an example. Why do you want to improve your English? What level are you at now and where do you want to be more specifically? What is an example where you were last ashamed of your level of English? How often do you practice English? What type of practice how often do you read? How often do you write? How often do you watch shows or movies? What pushed you to take action in getting lessons? And then show how I teach and ask them to look at my videos and see what they think about that, blah blah blah. Stuff like that. I put this question here. What is an example of where you are ashamed of your level of English? Because it's going to make them feel bad, and then I'm going to offer them a solution. And then they're going to be happy. Yeah. People, when they go through an emotional roller coaster, right, it makes them more susceptible to a sale, especially if they're at the top of the emotional roller coaster, which is where you'll put them after you give them a solution to their problems. So you can ask your clients something like something similar like did you ever apply to a job and got denied because of your level of programming or something like that? Lack of experience? Well, you can tell them, why haven't you applied for any jobs? And then they're going to say, because I don't know programming. Well, how does that make you feel? Bad. Well, I can teach you. Yeah, that's true, but still, you can ask them, you can ask them something like, you want to work in this field? Yeah? How come you're not? Because I don't have the skills. Okay, well, anyway. Yeah, asking the right questions is the most important part. Alright, well, anyway, that's the end of the lesson and the end of the hour, so I will see you next week then, yeah? Alright, have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.